So to summarize very quickly, the individual perception about an incident or a human being based on his own educational, cultural, socio-economic and many other background is known as belief system. And when this belief system is consolidated and starts manifesting his own actions, because earlier, in the early years of a child, it's not manifesting because it's just absorbing, learning, and gradually adding up layers upon layers is his own system of decision making. The algorithm that's being defined and the program is being written in his brain. So once it consolidates, we call it value. So value is consolidated belief system of every individual, and which defines the way that individual arrives at a decision at any point in time where there is no statute, either act or rule or regulation or EU or GO. So this is the authority follows right from Constitution 368 down to this point in the legal process pathway. The value is again divided to three parts: absolute values, core values, and peripheral values. I hardly speak or read slides. I always talk extempore. Values are of three types: absolute, core, and peripheral. Absolute values are those values or those belief systems which are operating within an individual at the level of individual, which they never compromise, come what may, even at the cost of their life. We all know Gandhi was killed, and whole life he fought for non-violence, and he died a violent death. Rana Pratap, he never surrendered before the Mughals, and he died incognito in forest. So the values which are never compromised, come what may, they are known as absolute values. The values which are by and large, to the extent possible, are lived by. Every individual has got his own set of do's and don'ts, his own way of judging things, his own way of making decisions right or wrong. And when it is manifested through his actions, and to the extent he is going to comply or conform with this, it is known as core value. Core value is that you live by it, what you preach, you practice, unless there are circumstances beyond your control, some life-threatening circumstance, then maybe you compromise, but you don't compromise in routine times, and they are known as core values. And third is peripheral values. Peripheral values are those values which you know to be of value. The value has got some value, but you hardly practice it. Like you all read that you always speak truth, and to what extent is being practiced, we all know that. So peripheral values are known to have some value, recognized universally, practiced barely. They are known as peripheral values. When these three set of values, the absolute values, the core values, and peripheral values, when they are put together, compressed in one individual CPU, and he operates through those frame of references while arriving at a decision in times of need, that is known as morality. Morality means you are sticking to your value system when there is no explicit written law available. That is morality. And when a group of human beings or people practice moral values together, that's known as ethics. So ethics is collective morality, and morality is individual ethics. That's why institutes have ethics committee and not morality committees. I hope I am clear to you all. I thought to begin with this because I thought that there's a need to make it unambiguously clear in the mind of all of you, or to refresh or remind you of the way it has evolved, the belief system, the values, the peripheral values, core values, absolute values, morality and ethics. This is the way it flows up. So this is one domain or one realm of decision making. We are here concerned being in the medical profession or healthcare delivery or healthcare industry, wherein a clinician or a healthcare manager or a forensic expert or at times they they are plagued with challenges or challenging situations wherein they have to come to a decision and for which there is no state law, there is no specific statute, there may be not even a case law particular judgment. What do? So whenever there is no written rule, we fall back on our own morality or ethical guidelines. So that's why of late international bodies and then we being India being signatory to the covenant of that same have taken strides in that direction and have come to a codified belief system that goes by the name of Professional Conduct, Etiquette and Ethics Regulation 2002. I request you to orient yourself to this screen to few case scenarios, case studies. Dr. S is becoming increasingly frustrated with patients who come to her either before or after consulting another health practitioner for the same ailment. She considers this to be a waste of health resources as well as counterproductive for the health of his patients. She decides to tell these patients that she'll no longer treat them if they continue to see other practitioners for the same ailment. She intends to approach her National Medical Association to lobby the government to prevent this form of misallocation of healthcare resources. Do you have any law for this? Do we have? We don't have. We don't have. There's no statute which precludes anyone from doing so. So what do you do in that case? Obviously, we'll fall back, we'll try to look at the ethical guidelines, our own individual morality, or the value or the belief system that we harbor. Second case, Dr. C, a newly appointed anesthetist in a city hospital, is alarmed by the behavior of the senior surgeon in the operating room. The surgeon uses out-of-date techniques that prolong operations and result in greater post-operative pain and longer recovery times. Moreover, he makes frequent crude jokes about the patients that obviously bother the assisting nurses. As a more junior staff member, Dr. C is reluctant to criticize the senior surgeon personally or to report him to higher authorities. However, he feels that he must do something to improve upon the situation. I hope you are making a sense out of what I'm trying to convey. While I will not read out the BEAR Act, which is available plenty on the network flowing across the world, I'll try to look at it from different perspectives. I'll try to decipher it in many possible ways. I'll try to connect it to the case scenarios. I'm trying to make the audience understand as to how and why, in which way you can come across situations, even in forensic medicine, where you don't have something very explicit or overt which you're supposed to conform and follow. Then what do you do in that case? Therein comes the role of ethics. In case something like this is not available in the ethical guidelines, what do you do then? You fall back on your own belief system. Each of these case studies invites ethical reflection. They raise questions about physician behavior and decision making. They are not scientific or technical.